It is Royal Rumble time, my friends, almost. It's like in 3 weeks. Actually, it's in February, which makes it totally crazy. So 2 conversations have started and we're going to address both. One is who you want to win the Royal Rumble. The other one is who should win the Royal Rumble. Because look, man, I would love it if Repo Man won the 2025 Royal Rumble. Sadly, I already know that's not going to happen. So let's start with the women's one, because actually things are heating up now and it could get super duper interesting. Because if you enjoy living your life on the internet, as we all do in this year, you will know that probably very soon somebody is about to return to the WWE. Her name is Charlotte Flair. Now, I'm very excited about this. Charlotte essentially missed all of 2024, and there is this weird, I kind of understand it to a point, right? Some people get a bit annoyed at the Charlotte Flair character because they think she's overpushed and she's won too many title reigns, and maybe there's been a few matches she shouldn't have got the victory, but she did. But at the same time, when you do watch her matches out of context or out of sync, or whatever the right word would be, she's really talented, man. Like, anybody would be lucky to have her on the roster. And the fact that she sort of understands her persona too, especially when she's a bad guy, and I'll get to that in just 1 second, it doesn't surprise me that every now and then WWE would go, well, actually, we probably should do something with this person. And do not forget, this is the new era of WWE, which I actually think balances these things a little bit better. I mean, sure, when they do make somebody the guy or the girl or the individual, whatever word you want to use, maybe they can go too far in one direction, but I also think that does make them feel, terrible choice of words, like the final boss. So the reason I put Charlotte Flair first is I would have her come back at the Royal Rumble. I would have her as a bad guy. There was that picture that was on social media that she posted where it kind of felt like she was going to be a dark queen or an evil queen. I would lean right into that. She should be arrogant. She should be over the top. She should run down her credentials all the time like a good professional wrestler. And I also think she should win. My main reason for this is because I think Tiffany Stratton versus Charlotte Flair at WrestleMania is a great match. It's a new match. It feels different. I feel like Charlotte could beat Tiffany and that would be fine. I feel like Tiffany could beat Charlotte and that would be fine. I think it can go both ways. I think it can kickstart a feud. There's just so much you can do with it. And I also think the promos will be pretty damn good because they can come at it from completely different ways. Tiffany Stratton is very direct, but she has a sort of, and I mean this is a compliment, a cartoony way to her. It's helped, the whole Tiffy time stuff, whereas Charlotte is direct too, but it's more like I'm staring at you in the eyes and I'm going to rip your head off. So again, it goes back to the question of the video. Should Charlotte Flair win the Royal Rumble? I think the only answer you can really give, if you're being honest with yourself, if I gave you the pen, as people say, and you were the booker, I think you have to say the word of the affirmative. And it's pretty much the same for the next person too, and I'm really intrigued to see what WWE does with this, because I think Becky Lynch is probably coming back at the Royal Rumble too. I'm only basing this on the fact that, one, over 50,000 tickets are out, so if you can absolutely go crazy with this with stars, you absolutely should do. But also, apparently she was meant to come back on this Raw and then that Raw. I'm sure it's all a bunch of lies and a bunch of flubbings, but it has got out there, and sometimes there's no smoke without fire. I just think that would be great. Like, there have been a couple of Royal Rumbles since the women's one was birthed into this world, where you were like, man, we could have had a bit more fun, or sometimes a surprise has been the same person in back-to-back years, which I don't have a problem with. But if you have the opportunity to bring back a Charlotte and bring back a Becky in a Royal Rumble, I totally understand that you are, terrible turn of phrase, why does this one come to my brain? Shooting your load. Somebody kick me in the face, man. What is going on? Too soon. But at the same time, it's all about creating moments. It's all about creating memories. And if the Royal Rumble is going to become a 2-night event from 2026, most definitely in 2027, I'd bet my hair on it. I think you want to get in place now. Anything can happen. It's a big deal. Make sure you buy both tickets for both nights. And it's a difficult thing to be able to pull off. Same with the Elimination Chamber and same with the, what's it called, the War Games, like I'm a 90-year-old man. But doing a Women's Royal Rumble at the start of the show and a Men's Royal Rumble at the end of the show, or vice versa, it is a little bit difficult sometimes because it tires you out because they are so big. So if all of a sudden you are going to have one on a Saturday and one on a Sunday, now is the time to get it in people's brains. Well, I'm sorry, Charlotte Flair and Becky Lynch just turned up, so you have no idea what's going to happen. I think she could win as well. The difference there is I don't think we should do Rhea Ripley versus Becky Lynch at WrestleMania because we did it last year. I actually think if Becky Lynch did come back before that and you wanted to do Rhea versus Becky at the Royal Rumble, you could. But given what we saw on Raw with Nia Jax and Bayley, I don't think we're going to do that. And maybe Bayley's going to be a stand-in. Although Bayley's feuding with everyone. Tiffany, Rhea, and now Roxanne Perez, so that is interesting. But Becky's kind of the same. Becky is very much you either die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become the villain. I think she gets way too much negative thrown at her. I think she's a super mega massive awesome star, and I miss her from the WWE. So she did come back and win the Royal Rumble. I guess you have the two polar opposites here. Charlotte can win as a heel. Becky Lynch, we've done that before. Let's not do it again. She can win as a good guy, but either way, you are having a tippity top star coming back as a surprise and winning. It's going to tie into all the business Royal Rumble stuff that we just talked about. There's another one too, and that is Io Sky. Now, Io Sky has been on a very interesting run recently, having some of the best matches not only in the company, but anywhere you're likely to see. She can work with anyone. But obviously, she had a starring role in the War Games, didn't really go anywhere, tried to win the Intercontinental Championship, didn't go anywhere, tried to win the World Championship, and she wasn't able to do it. But obviously, Liv Morgan is no longer in charge of that title. So I think Rhea Ripley versus Io Sky is the direction I would go in at WrestleMania 41, and it all depends on how you want to get there. Now listen, I would have Charlotte Flair win, then I'd have Io Sky win the Elimination Chamber, but you can flip reverse it too. You can be hypocritical in this situation, because you can go, okay, Charlotte's in there, Becky's in there, but if Io throws both of them out, and they have enough star power in order to get away with that, I was going to go, oh man, you're crappy now. You just have to come up with a good way to do it, and then it's Io Sky who is standing tall, and then she challenges for Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania 41. Well, once again, you could probably do a 180 from what we did at WrestleMania 40, which is she wins and she gets her moment. Rhea Ripley would have held that title for 4.5 months by then, January, February, March. Yeah, because it's not till mid-April. That's a long enough run. Not everybody has to hold a title in dog years. You can have short title reigns, once again, as long as the story suits there. And you can believe that Io Sky could beat Rhea Ripley. I know there's a vast size difference, but again, that should tie into the angle, the narrative, the story that you're trying to tell. And I just think Io Sky, she may actually already be there, but at nothing else, she's at the cusp of becoming even bigger than she already is. Because as she has adapted, that's not the right word, she doesn't be a babyface, but as she's now getting a proper run on the main roster as a good guy, the way she works, her facial expressions, it's just so easy to get behind her. And listen, no one's going to boo Rhea Ripley. I think she's going to be one of the biggest stars of 2025. But you could have this dynamic where you do have sympathy for Io because she's been crushed by this absolute monster. So she would absolutely be someone that's not a surprise that I think should be in the running to win. I think she's awesome. I think she's great. And again, she is somebody we should invest massive time in 2025. So even if she doesn't win the championship at WrestleMania, and even if she doesn't win the Royal Rumble, make sure she's got things to do. And again, by the end of the year, probably have a title around her waist. Even if it is the IC belt, you got to belt her up. And there's a fourth one too. And again, we've gone back to the surprises. But again, I would do this one. Don't make me repeat myself. I think Alexa Bliss is probably going to be in a Royal Rumble too. Now, the cool thing about Alexa Bliss is because she is so character driven, I don't actually think she needs to win. Now, the risk there, people talk about with NXT talent all of the time, is you'll go, well, you don't want to put somebody in the Rumble in a prominent position and then they're not successful, because does that take away some of their allure? Does it steal away some of their momentum? I think that's the case with Alexa Bliss. Whether she comes back as original Alexa or whether she comes back as creepy, what was that doll called? Lily Alexa. I want to point something out with that because I still get messages about this. I thought she played that character very well. I just preferred the other character she was doing. Doesn't mean that she shouldn't come back as that person. She should choose which one would she like to do and what does she think is going to benefit her the most. But again, we can get hypocritical here too, because if Alexa Bliss was the surprise and then she managed to get the victory, that would raise her star stock. And you could probably argue that Charlie and Becky are actually ahead of her when it comes to this bizarre star stock that I've just made up. I would actually have her go in there and get eliminated by somebody like, I don't know, let's say Lyra Valkyria's in the thing, which is always difficult because why aren't you defending your IC title? But Alexa Bliss going into a feud for the Intercontinental or the US Championship, I think would be perfect because she just brings something so different to the table. However, she is a big deal and she is returning, and when you're in that position, you can always win. Another reason I'd love all three to come back. It tells you next year to get ready, to get prepared, but also if she does then, move into a program that is a big deal, it doesn't even matter that she was surprised didn't win, because we're telling you it's not just the winner that matters, it's the stories that we're going to tell in the middle of the Rumble. That's why people talk about the 1992 Royal Rumble all of the time, which I rewatched the other day. It's not just because Ric Flair runs the gambit. It's all the stuff that's going on in the middle and how it builds to WrestleMania can absolutely do that with Alexa Bliss. And Roxanne Perez is my last one. That's right, I'm being that guy. I've pitched for this for many a year, and actually in many ways 2025 is probably not the best time to do it, but one year I think you absolutely have to call up somebody from NXT and just go, listen man, we are going to put the figurative Ula Falla around you, and we're going to run you hard till WrestleMania. Now of course you has to be with the right person. If you're not an NXT fan, you just watch the main roster and you're in the audience, you would be a bit confused, but that is on WWE's shoulders to get it right. That should be the power of the creative. So again, I go back to that title, who should win the Royal Rumble, and if Roxanne Perez is going to be in it, she should win it, and she should go on to face someone like Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania, and she should win, and then she's goated on Raw or SmackDown for a long old time. So once again, if you put a gun to my head, do I think that's going to happen? No. But would I be against it? The answer is also no. When we flip to the men's one, and again, this is why I think we should load up the women's one with surprises. I don't actually think you need any surprises for the men's, or at least I hope there's at least one though, because my gosh, there are so many potential winners. We'll start with Roman Reigns. Now, Roman Reigns hasn't been in a Royal Rumble for 4 years, and actually, I know he's won one before, but he's had a terrible record in terms of getting booed, or in 2016, or whenever the championship was on the line. I think that was 2016, and Triple H threw him out to a massive ovation. There's been a lot of controversy. That is the big dog man. This must be the first time the head of the table, the tribal chief, has entered a Rumble. I could be wrong. Don't get mad. Just comment, because engagement is good for YouTube, and please do subscribe. That would rule. But of course, Roman Reigns could win the Royal Rumble, right? All of a sudden, you're going to get excited, because is he going to take on Cody Rhodes? That would make you go, oh my gosh. Some people would probably question it, because that's a trilogy all happening at back-to-back WrestleManias, but, you know, go big or go home. Or you can start saying, is he going to face a Gunther? By that point, is Seth Rollins going to be the champion? Is a CM Punk going to be the champion? We haven't seen that sort of escalating now, but there's no reason you can't do it. Again, we still need to do something at the Elimination Chamber. So even if Roman Reigns did win, it looked like you were going to do a Gunther match, then you pivot to something else, nobody would be mad at it. And again, Roman Reigns in many ways is still the face of WWE. He can win anything. No one is going to be surprised. We've kind of gone through the mud with Roman, and before it was like, oh no, he's going to win. Now it's like, oh my gosh, Roman Reigns could win. That would be super interesting. Now, a gun to my head, we'll bring that back. I don't think he is going to be the guy, but Roman Reigns can win, man. And given that he did have that massive title reign, and he is going to be in the main event of WrestleMania, that is an easy way to get him there. And he hasn't featured for so long, and he hasn't won one in so long, and he has just got his Ula Fala back. Maybe that will actually take him up to another level, which would be crazy. Now, I actually think it is going to be the Bloodline 2.0 or somebody around that does screw him over. But he's in the run, and so is CM Punk. Now, CM Punk is the guy I'm actually going to go for personally when we do our proper predictions video. There's a spoiler for you, but the TV may change my mind. But CM Punk has been on such an amazing run. Again, defeated Drew McIntyre, defeated Seth Rollins. Absolutely one of the most over babyface in the company. The reaction he got on Raw, the second Raw on Netflix, was incredible. And I just think an easy way to tell his story. And also, he's just gone on about it so much. And it could be a ruse. Of course it could. But I think sometimes when you are a mega good guy and you're pointing at a fake sign going, I want my championship back, and I need to main event WrestleMania, especially because he was meant to main event in 2024 before he got injured. Let's just get it done, because we don't know what's going to happen in 2026. I go back to my catchphrase. Even if he main events Saturday night, that still counts as a main event. My gosh, can we give some respect to these people, please? So I just think it would be a crowning achievement for him. He's never won a Royal Rumble, and it really would ride this crest of a wave, because I think at one point in 2025, you got to turn him heel. CM Punk's even better as a heel as he is a face, because he's so engaging on the microphone. So let's get all the juice out of this run, and then he can face whoever the flub you want at WrestleMania. And if we do CM Punk versus Roman Reigns, maybe he can even throw Roman Reigns out, and then if Roman Reigns won the belt, it would make it super duper interesting. But again, I think when the betting odds come out, he's going to be top 1 or top 2. And I actually think he is going to win a Royal Rumble. And the other guy probably in that position will indeed be John Cena, because once again, the story is there. Just looking at you in the face, John Cena makes his big return. He cuts that impassioned promo on Raw. He tells us, I am going to win the Rumble. And then he does it. Who's going to get mad at it? That one guy. I will. Shut up. Personally, I think a better story is that he actually does fail, because his catchphrase is never give up. Again, I've talked about that on a different video, and I'll save that for the predictions. But sometimes you don't have to overthink wrestling stories, and you just do what is glaring at you right in the eye, and that would set him up for a Cody Rhodes versus John Cena match. And I think I don't care how we get there, via the Elimination Chamber or via the Royal Rumble. The more I've thought about it, the more that's what we've got to do. It's such a, again, I understand they're two difficult human beings, but it's a Hulk Hogan versus Ultimate Warrior Mafia moment, or it's not really the same, but maybe kind of a Hulk Hogan Rock moment. I think it would be like that, because I think you've got this man who totally changed the industry. Actually, both of them. You have two men that basically changed the industry, and while Cena never got the sort of 100% love reaction that he's getting now, that was always his position. That's Cody's position too, but we're just living in a different time, and people do fall at his feet, as they should do, because he's a wonderful babyface. And I just think you could start that feud. They can be nicey nice to each other, and they kind of get under each other's skin. They can probably talk about some real stuff, and everyone's going to love it. And it's a match that I never thought I would see, and I would just be over the moon to get it. And John Cena, getting his momentum by coming back and winning the Rumble. People are going to enjoy it. People are going to love it. And this ties back to what I said about Roman Reigns. John Cena can do whatever he wants. John Cena can go, I'm going to win the WWE Speed title. I've got, it's amazing. John Cena winning the WWE Speed title because he's flubbing John Cena. So if he does enter a Rumble, he has to be a contender. And of course, he should win it if that's the direction we want to go. I think he's got the Rumble or he's got the Elimination Chamber, because that match is going to happen. I'm going to throw a few more names at you as well, though, because, again, I think they all do count. If you had Drew McIntyre win this Rumble, would I be mad? Absolutely not, especially because I think during this transfer window, we should whack him on SmackDown and make him the dude. Put a belt on him and just push, 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 push. Same with Seth Rollins, though. If Seth Rollins won the Rumble and all of a sudden somehow maybe you got the belt on CM Punk another way, oh my gosh, that would be fascinating too. Or you could do Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins. That is a match that, I don't want to say it's fallen by the wayside, but it's just so crowded up there at the moment. People forget about it. We have to finish that story at one point. It has been told for years and years and years, ever since he did get stabbed in the back. So if you wanted to pull it off at WrestleMania 41 after some things have changed, absolutely got no problem with that. You could even do Roman versus Seth versus Punk. I haven't actually talked about that on a video yet, but I did consider it the other day, and I wouldn't be mad. And it also actually means that Punk could be the guy to win this, and the other two clash, and you do whatever the hell you want to do. But yeah, Seth Rollins winning the Rumble wouldn't be weird. Again, Drew McIntyre winning the Rumble wouldn't be weird. Even someone like Damian Priest winning the Rumble wouldn't be weird. Maybe we're veering off course here a little bit, but he's had such a strong 2024. If you really wanted to cement him as a guy and sort of do what we did for Drew in 2024 with Damian in 2025, he has been whooping everybody's ass, and he could absolutely stand tall, and I think he would be a under the radar pick, but I wouldn't be like, oh my gosh, it's the most preposterous thing ever. Actually, I would be quite pumped about it, because I think Damian Priest is great. So it just kind of goes to show the work and the effort that WWE has put into this scene in 2024. I don't actually know which way it's going to go. Like, even if Gunther lost his world championship in the next few weeks and he decided to enter the Rumble, even after losing it that soon, I'd be like, well, he could probably win it too. I even think someone like Jey Uso could be in contention. Now, we're not going to do this because, of course, we're doing the Gunther match at Saturday night's main event. But he has so much love and he has so much power in his knees at the moment. When he does come out, he's going to get a massive reaction, and it's the same kind of a deal. If WWE really wanted to escalate him to the next level, they could do. I just don't think they need to do it at the moment. Do you know what I mean? Even if we do Roman Reigns versus CM Punk and Cody versus John Cena at WrestleMania, you can argue that we can get rematches out of those. Again, CM Punk versus Cody is still there. There's still stuff to do between CM Punk and Seth Rollins. Drew McIntyre is still looking for Roman Reigns, another reason he could absolutely win the Rumble. There's a bunch of other matches I haven't even talked about. Again, did I even say Roman Reigns versus Seth there? I don't think so. Again, Roman versus Cody you can do. I think the genius of this is, again, SummerSlam is 2025, is a 2-night event, so that actually does have to be hot WrestleMania. We talk about it all the time. You have to burn that place to the ground and convince people to go over both nights, and I think they will, but it's more about, I'm just talking about what I talked about earlier, it's more about all of a sudden making it have that atmosphere and that environment. You're like, well, we have to go to both nights of SummerSlam, and at the moment, that's brand new territory, so we don't know what to do. So making sure you don't sort of get too much out too soon is going to be important, especially because in the past, WWE has always had a post-WrestleMania lull. They didn't have that in 2024, and they're going to want to repeat that in 2025. So it's exciting times. I'll leave it there. They are my main contenders when you're talking about who should win the Royal Rumble, but I don't matter. I'm a bored idiot. Get in those comments below. Also, please do click the video on the screen, which is me talking about 10 things that WWE should do in 2025. Essentially like this video, but we expanded it out a bit. Like the video, share the video. Please hit subscribe and that notification bell. The notification bell is so important. Otherwise, there's a bunch of stuff down there. Please do click. It's going to take you to my other social media. It's going to take you to Pro Wrestling Tees. And it's going to take you to GorillaMind.com/Simon. Use that to get 10% off all fitness supplements. It ships worldwide, and it's really good. I should have got it to be a better advertiser. The Gorilla Mind energy drink I had before making this video is right there. Just a bit tired. Had to get up early to review AEW Dynamite on What Culture Wrestling. Check them out too. But now I have the power in my brain, quite literally, because it's also a nootropic drink as well. I'll stop pimping there. My friends, I appreciate you. Enjoy the rest of the week. I'll see you soon.